Иванову Тимуру Владимировичу меру пресечения без заключения под стражу. Установить срок его содержания под стражей на 2 месяца 0 суток, то есть до 23 июля 2024 года.
This is a great investigative piece by Igor Sushko. Russian Defense Minister Shoigu and his deputies Salikov and Ivanov are likely to face state treason charges for leaking nuclear secrets. Raids on Ivanov and accomplices yielded data on classified military projects, including nuclear installations. Osechkin now has the files. Ministry of Defense Mafia, headed by Defense Minister Shoigu and his deputies, overreached. Now they are likely to face treason charges for leaking nuclear secrets to people abroad in their embezzlement scheme. There are wild revelations from Vladimir Osechkin's sources on Timur Ivanov's role in Yevgeny Prigozhin's rebellion and demise. Arrest of Ivanov is Putin's retribution. Shoigu's fall is likely coming. Prigozhin went nuts and attempted his coup after the ministry continued the constant squeeze on him, first withholding prisoner recruitment, then cutting off his defense budget, and finally cutting off munitions. But Putin had Patrushev from the Security Council and Bortnikov from the FSB conduct a post-mortem assessment of what really caused Prigozhin to go loco, as he was one of Putin's most trusted and loyal people. They discovered how Ivanov and Shoigu did, in fact, gradually choke off all ministry support from Prigozhin, just as Prigozhin was saying was happening. But Putin wouldn't listen to him, probably because Shoigu deceived Putin by claiming that Prigozhin was lying about his artificial shell hunger. Then, after Putin had Prigozhin killed for the rebellion, Ivanov, with Shoigu's blessing, sent a significant team, Redoute PMC, from the Ministry of Defense to Africa and started to systemically steal Prigozhin's assets there, including gold mines and oil and gas fields. As a result, Patrushev and Bortnikov realized that this was Deputy Defense Minister Ivanov's premeditated plan to destroy Prigozhin one way or another, to steal all his assets, billions of dollars. A plan that was enabled by Shoigu but executed by Ivanov and hidden from Putin. Putin now blames Ivanov for provoking Prigozhin into betrayal through the June 23, 2023 rebellion and his march on Moscow. The artificial shell famine that Prigozhin complained so much about was traced directly to Timur Ivanov at the ministry. Shoigu is now also in grave risk of retribution from Putin for what happened to Prigozhin. So far unclear how he will be dealt with, but quite possible Putin will use his upcoming inauguration and the new 6-year term as an excuse to replace Shoigu as defense minister. But that's not all. Russia's deputy defense minister Timur Ivanov was in charge of financing construction projects for the Ministry of Defense. Osechkin learned that Ivanov and Shoigu's corruption may have influenced the timing of the invasion of Ukraine. But first, how the embezzlement scheme worked. Unfinished production is a budgetary category of construction projects in the ministry that were not completed for whatever reason. The incomplete construction projects are handed off from the original contractor to someone else, so the total cost to complete is higher. Ivanov's scheme, in which of course Defense Minister Shoigu himself was also involved, initially contracted defense construction to a naive but capable company, selling them hopes of lucrative future contracts for successful completion. Ivanov would give an advance payment of 20%, but at 90% completion, Ivanov at ministry would pull the rug from under the contractor and only accept the work completed on the advance that was paid, which was just 20%. The mark contractor is then discarded, or if he doesn't get it and tries to fight the injustice, he is either killed or thrown in jail on fabricated charges, where the prosecutors and investigators are conveniently part of the Ivanov and Shoigu mafia. The current investigation against Ivanov is likely to lead to mass arrests and charges, and won't be about just for corruption, but for racketeering by an organized criminal organization. Over 1,000 contracts were part of this incomplete project scheme with countless victims. Now this gets crazy. Timur Ivanov was interrogated as part of an investigation into this scheme in the summer of 2021, when several of the marks, contractors who got scammed, were thrown in jail by Ivanov, but became cooperating victims/witnesses for investigators against Ivanov. This 2021 investigation became a huge problem for not just Ivanov, but also Defense Minister Shoigu himself, who has been profiting off of this racketeering scheme, as well as for Salikov, another deputy defense minister. They desperately needed to stop this investigation. According to Osechkin's sources, in 2021, Shoigu made military intelligence under the command of the General Staff fabricate countless reports for Putin, which painted an apocalyptic picture. In the coming months, NATO ground forces would enter Ukraine to deoccupy Donbas. Shoigu knows Putin well, and he was convinced Putin would not change horses midstream if they started a war against Ukraine. Not only did Shoigu manage to get rid of the 2021 corruption investigation against them by manipulating Putin, his MOD budget skyrocketed with the war. But raids on Ivanov and his accomplices in the FSB yielded data on classified military projects, including nuclear installations. Osechkin received these files discovered during the raid from his source in the FSB because the heads of the FSB wanted to cover up the discovery of this classified information in the possession of Ivanov's FSB accomplices, and the fact that classified nuclear information was sent abroad by the Ministry Mafia. The heads of the FSB wanted to exclude all this information from the investigative file in the case against Ivanov. Now that Osechkin is making this information public, they can't. Shoigu's MOD Mafia generously transmitted the highly classified information and schematics of nuclear missile installations to their accomplices, including those outside Russia as part of their construction budget embezzlement scheme. These classified documents were recovered during recent raids from electronic devices belonging to Deputy Defense Minister Ivanov and his FSB accomplices in the embezzlement scheme. Osechkin then received these files from his source in the FSB. Osechkin says the total sum of embezzlement by the Shoigu Mafia from the Russian defense budget over the years is in trillions of rubles, tens of billions of US dollars. They stole 50% to 60% of the construction budget for thousands of projects. Many heads are expected to roll at the Defense Ministry, the FSB, and probably even in the presidential administration. And as a bonus video, this is what the modest estate of Russian Deputy Defense Minister Timur Ivanov, arrested for corruption and possibly treason, looks like.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.